On the day of the shindig, the fake daughter deliberately yanked at my dress, aiming to embarrass me, while my folks had her back. I ripped her gown apart with my bare hands. "What's with the grabbing? You love to show off that much. Let me help you." The fake daughter was on the brink of tears, and I flipped over every table at the party. Every piece of antique porcelain shattered, racking up millions in damage overnight. The whole fam lost it. I never saw this coming. I'm Ava, Reborn. And I came back to the moment when the Johnsons resurrected me after I was trafficked for an acknowledgement banquet. Just a second before, I was killed by Mia, watching as my body was dumped into the ocean. The next moment, I was back at the party, with Mia tugging at my gown. In my past life, she exploited my unfamiliarity with high society to make me the joke among the elite circles. Years later, all people remembered about me was the shameless real daughter who exposed herself at a party. But my parents always shielded her and kept me under wraps. I ended up humiliated and ultimately met a tragic end. Since I got a second chance, I'm not gonna play nice this time. I grabbed Mia's outstretched hand and with my other hand pulled down on the front of her gown. "What's with the grabbing? You love to show off that much? Let me help you." I tore Mia's dress apart, exposing her more than I did in my past life, right in front of the top families of Wall Street. Oh, Mia realized what happened, screamed, and tried to cover up while hiding behind my biological parents as they rushed over. Facing my parents' anger, I just smirked. "Why cry? I'm just paying you back." Mia acted like she found her supporters and blamed me as she cried, "Dad, the sister, not like me. Does she think I took something from her so she ripped my dress?" "Sister, I didn't mean it. I've heard this tired excuse a million times in my past life." She used this pitiful act to pressure me into tolerating her. I put up with so much that my biological parents ended up loving her. They even helped her cover up the crime when I got killed. Thinking about this fueled my hatred. Mia kept subtly trash-talking me. But this time, I wasn't gonna bottle up my anger. I flipped over every table at the party. "Why cry? Are you some reincarnated poor soul? Who you trying to disgust with that tone? You were the one who started pulling clothes. Want me to pull up the security footage and have it broadcast citywide? Title it, 'Fake Daughter Fails, Exposes All at the Party.' Bet you'd be trending like a falling star in 3 days." As soon as I finished, Mia clammed up like a chicken with its head cut off. My mom screamed, trying to get security to grab me. I grabbed a wine bottle as a weapon and smashed it onto the antique collections holding the place together. A $6 million blue and white floral goblet, a $7 million moon flask, a $10 million vase. Those were the couple's pride and joy. If I didn't smash them, it would be a waste. I must have gone off the rails, going all berserk. Mia freaked out looking at me. My parents froze, staring at the pieces scattered on the floor. Guests quickly found excuses to dip. Before long, only the 4 of us and some staff remained in the huge reception hall. Dad's veins bulged with anger as he swung a slap at me. I was ready for it, dodging back. So his hand landed fatally on Mia's face instead. He put real force behind the slap, and Mia hit the ground, the flimsy bit of fabric hanging onto her tore completely as she hit the floor. Oh, Mia lost it, and moved to curse me out. I swiftly pulled the priority move, speak first. "Oh, hitting shows love, yelling shows care. Dad's love sure hurts, huh? Why the ugly face? Mad at Dad? Daddy, your most beloved younger daughter seems to resent you." Before I finished, Mia glared and snapped. "No, I'm not stopping your lies." I knowingly nodded. "So you like when Dad hits you? Don't worry, I'll keep letting you have the chance." Then I looked at Dad. I must be a considerate person. Huh, Dad? Dad's face went ashen. Mom looked at me in disbelief. "Ava, you weren't like this as a kid." Mom continued. "Ava, you weren't like this as a kid. Mia might be from the orphanage, but she's your sister. What is a sister? Is it a drink you can pour?" Plus, with a sweet smile, I added, "By the way, Mom, Mia does look like a certain someone. Like she could be Dad's secret child, don't you think?" Mom was stunned, like she didn't get me. Before Dad could say anything, Mia's face changed, jumping in to yell at me. "Sister, how can you slander me like that? Mom personally chose me. If it wasn't for Mom, there's no way I'd be part of this family, even though they didn't birth me. I've always seen them as my real parents, and I'll share the duties of caring for them, even for sister in the future. Mom's bit of doubt vanished after hearing that. After all, she personally picked her. Mom thought for a bit, then started convincing me, Ava, I know you're upset about having a sister after just coming back, but don't worry, we love you both equally, no favorites. Your sister came from an orphanage and craves family, so, Ava, you should be more understanding. See, in my past life, Mom said the same thing, telling me to be polite and let things go for my sister. I smiled coldly, thinking of secrets I wouldn't have known had I not died. Mom can stay clueless if she wants. I hoped when the truth hit her, she wouldn't be too surprised. Seeing Mom's mind at ease, Dad confidently spoke up again. Ava, you're asking for it. Apologize to your sister. Too bad you want me to apologize to her? In another life, maybe? Or should I have just walked in front of her car and let her hit me? Or apologized after death when my parents helped cover it up and dumped my body in the ocean? I am not letting any of those three off the hook. I'm not apologizing. What'll you do about it, Ava? Don't forget you're still a part of the Johnson family. If you don't listen to me, I'll disown you. I rolled my eyes. Did he really think that was a threat? You'd disown me? Don't forget, you just confirmed my identity to the media. Would Mr. Johnson really throw away his rep like that airing dirty laundry? Oh wait, it's too late. Our dear sister just bared it all at the party. I even saw a couple of widowers eyeing Mia. Maybe when she graduates, we can send her to them. Wouldn't want her going to waste. Threaten me? Dream on. Push me, and I'll spill your biggest secrets. After my rant, I went back to the small bedroom I used before. It was practically a servant's room. I'd forgotten how depressing it was. No worries, though. My room might suck, but the nice ones are enough payback. I turned around and headed to the best room on this floor, tossing all of Mia's stuff out. Mia came up trembling and found the mess I'd made. She ran crying to our parents. Mom, Dad, why is she doing this to me? Why is she throwing my stuff out? Do I need your permission? Should I pay attention to your feelings? After Mia hit me with her car in my past life, things played out like a movie in my head. If memory serves, Mia left a bunch of poisonous spiders in my room. Last lifetime, embarrassed from the party, I cried and didn't see them. I got bitten, my skin rotted away, and I nearly died. This time, as her older sister, I'll let Mia enjoy the spider's love. Standing at the top of the stairs, Mia held onto the railing, a red handprint on her face where her dad hit her, highlighting her delicate features in her new white dress. Sis, you're still mad at me for taking your stuff, aren't you? What did you think? Just standing there is enough to pollute the air, and you're stealing my things? You've got some nerve. Then just hit me, sis, if it'll make you feel better. I'll take it willingly. She's trying the act of taking a step back to advance. I watched her with amusement, my hand itching to move. Well, does my little sister have some kind of masochistic tendencies? I can help you with that. My hand moved on its own, delivering 2 smacks as she screamed. I noticed the symmetry was off, so I touched up the other side that wasn't quite red enough. Sis, how's that feeling better from the slaps? Need more? Mia collapsed onto the floor, tearing off her mask of false kindness, glaring at me. Ava, you're insane. Congrats, you got it right. Better not mess with the nutcase, else I might lose it one day and kill you. Patting her reddened cheek, I added, from now on, this is my room. Grab your stuff and go next door. Don't worry, I tossed out those spiders you had. Mia gasped at me. How you knew? Smiling mischievously, I patted her face again. Sis, if you're gonna mess with people, don't do something so childish. It just makes you look dumb. The next morning, I was up early enjoying breakfast, watching my dear parents leave. Soon I heard the scream I'd anticipated. Ava, I'll kill you! Mia stormed out of the bedroom, inflamed with rage, seeing her swollen, blistered skin, with some spots leaking pus. I let out a wow. Really? My poor sister, so predictably foolish. When I said I tossed them out, you actually believed me. Ha ha ha. What are you gonna do? After playing the good girl for 2 years, don't you even know how to swear? Flustered, perhaps pride wounded by my dismissal of her skill. Mia snapped, Shut it, you piece of shit. Ava, you'll die painfully. Tisk, tisk. her cussing isn't nearly as good as her mom's. Mia, don't talk to me. I have standards. Plus, having complex features doesn't hide that basic IQ. You better hit the hospital now, because you can't fight me when you're dead. Fretting about missing her chance against me, Mia hastily called the butler to drive her to the hospital when Mia returned. I was leisurely sipping tea in the garden. She rushed over, head held high like a proud chicken. Ava, look! The moment they knew I was injured, Mom and Dad rushed to the hospital. They even bought me a bag to cheer me up. What about you? You didn't get anything by coming back. I nodded. True? But I'll have Ryan wire the money for the bag to my account. Only fools buy bags. Cash is king for investing and earning interest. You think Dad would give you anything after how mad you made him? Don't kid yourself. Well, what can you do? I am the Johnson family's eldest daughter. Didn't you see what the newspaper said? I offered the newspaper on the table to Mia, helpfully. 3 bold headlines caught my eye. Johnson's daughter found stunning beauty. Johnson's second daughter bears all. Below were photos, one of me with a dazzling smile, another of Mia sitting on the ground in a rather unflattering pose. The reporter had kindly pixelated her face and chest. Mia was shaking with anger, tearing the newspaper to shreds. I sipped my tea, grinning, and kindly reminded her, tear it up, there's more, there are HD color versions online. Ava, why don't you just drop dead? Mia swatted my teacup away, spilling tea on the hem of my dress. Ugh, this dress plus emotional distress charges, easily tenfold the price. After figuring it out, I laughed, poured another cup, stood up, and poured it over Mia's head. Oh, I swung a slap, and as she glared at me viciously, I pretended to gasp. Sis, are you having an episode, hitting your own face again? Your face, already a steamed bun, now looks like a waterlogged corpse. You're so ugly. How am I supposed to handle it? I finished and pretended to just notice the boy who rushed to the door. My first love, in another life. My boyfriend, but also the guy who slept with Mia. Ryan approached with a complicated expression. You too. I knew what he was thinking, except for that party outburst. I was always a timid, yielding girl. He couldn't believe I hit someone, but Mia looked pretty bad. He was torn. I kindly handed him the newspaper. Mia saw this. Her pure heart couldn't take it. And she started self-harming. She might have a mental issue. Be nice to her. Ryan frowned, pulling me away from Mia. Mia's face was pale. Her tone immediately turned soft and teary. Ryan, no, I really didn't. You misunderstood me. It's because she's jealous I'm favored by Mom and Dad and attacked me. Normally, Mia's act could easily evoke protective instincts in guys, but she forgot. I had just poured a whole cup of tea on her. Her wet hair sticking with several tea leaves was a real eyesore. Johnson's house originally belongs to Ava. You're just an adopted daughter. What's there to be jealous of? Then he turned to comfort me. Ava, don't worry. Our first loves grew up together. I only trust you. Yeah. Ryan and I had known each other for years. Yet in the end, he still ended up in bed with Mia. What did he say back then? He said, Ava, Mia told me that during those years you were kidnapped. You were already, I can't accept that. And I fell in love with Mia. She made me feel the pure beauty of a woman. What a load of pigs in a bra, one story after another. Soon school started, and Mia and I returned to class. The class was almost full, except for the seats next to Ryan and another boy. Ryan waved at me, Ava here! I walked toward him, and the happiness in his eyes was about to overflow. Yet as I passed him, the joy disappeared. Ignoring him, I headed to the back row, placed my bag on a chair, and extended my hand to the boy beside me. Hi, I'm Ava. The boy, lying on the desk, looked up at me briefly, then back down. When I thought he'd ignore me, his low voice came out, Ben. In the previous life, I barely noticed him. After all, in the past, right after I started school again, I was ridiculed, cornered in bathrooms, bullied, and insulted. I stopped going to school, hiring a tutor at home instead. Also due to Mia and Ryan, I performed poorly and only made it to a mediocre university. I vaguely remember Ben was a transfer student with a cool demeanor that didn't sit well with classmates, despite his handsome looks. The students here came from high-ranking officials and wealthy families, so they ostracized Ben, new from another city. A somewhat familiar girl ran over asking Ava, "Why are you sitting here? Is there an issue? I heard Ben's family has a history of mental illness. His dad's a murderer." I ignored her, indifferently unpacking my books. In the past, I only made it to a mediocre college. In this life, I want to aim for the best university, escape this toxic family. Ben stared at me for a while, making my scalp tingle. "Ben, do you need something?" Ben slowly asked. "Aren't you afraid of me?" "Afraid of what?" "They say I come from a family with mental illness, and my dad's a murderer." He was being loud. I casually responded, "My parents say I'm crazy too. We make a good pair." Luckily, though, I was kidnapped and sold for 2 years. I worked hard after returning, and my grades weren't too bad. But I still had a long way to my Wall Street dream. I studied like crazy every day and ignored pathetic Mia and my parents at home. Things stayed calm for a few months. To my delight, Ben was a study genius, explained things clearly, and my progress was fast. In the first mock exam, I ranked second in the whole grade, right after Ben. It's a shame that when someone becomes popular, drama follows. Those weird looks my classmates gave me, I'm all too familiar with them. After school, I stopped Ryan. "Ryan, what's been going on lately?" "Ava, they say, oh." "What did they say?" "They say after you were kidnapped, you were assaulted, and you're pregnant with the kidnapper's child." "Oh, do you believe it?" I don't know." Ryan's eyes darted around, avoiding mine. I didn't say more, just turned and left. Of course, it had to be Mia's doing. She smeared my name like this before. "What does a sister do when her sibling misbehaves? You can't just hit them." "That's wrong. No worries, I'll make sure she gets a taste of social ruin." Monday rolled around, and it was time for the usual class meeting. After the teacher finished the announcements, I stood up in front of everyone and headed over to Mia's desk. I grabbed her by the hair and physically dragged her in front of everyone and headed over to Mia's desk. I grabbed her by the hair and dragged her to the front of the class. Oh, the teacher saw what I did and wanted to intervene, but my vibe kept them at bay. I turned and grinned at the shocked faces of my classmates. "So I hear you all think I was assaulted by my kidnapper and that I'm pregnant with his child. I also heard someone leak this on a forum." I pulled out Mia's phone from her pocket, connected it to the projector, and laughed. "Is it this post? Well, isn't it just so detailed, but the person who posted it..." I pulled Mia's head up to face her classmates. It turns out that my dear sister Mia was behind it all. No need for me to say more. The room broke into a buzz. What? Mia posted it? Wasn't she adopted by the Johnsons? Slandering her own sister like that just to take her place? Oh my gosh, this is unreal. An orphan turned drama queen, thinking she could just steal the spotlight? I always thought her fake niceness was gross. But since she's from the Johnson family, I tolerated her. Turns out they aren't even that close. Who'd be close with someone who's always trying to take what's yours? This wasn't over yet. I quickly opened the photo album. Mia tried to grab the phone back, but I slammed her onto the podium and pushed my foot against her back hard. "My dear sister, what do you think this is, huh?" I accidentally flashed her phone across the projector again. It showcased some X-rated photos of Mia, even with different guys. I had thoughtfully made them into a little slideshow for her. How did I know she had stuff like this on her phone? Well, let's just say death revealed a lot of secrets to me. Casually, I watched the chaos unfold on the screen. Whoa, are we even allowed to see this? This is insane. So gross. Now I remember. She had a wardrobe malfunction at the Johnsons' party before. There were topless photos. Oh yeah, I recall she blamed Ava for ripping her outfit back then. She's just being trashy. The photos showed each guy. One of them, everyone knew well. I looked at Ryan, the guy in the photos. Classmates whispered and looked at him. Ryan jumped up, hurriedly denying. "Ava, you gotta believe me, I have nothing to do with her. She drugged me. I wasn't in my right mind." He makes me laugh. "You think your innocent, clueless smile in those photos is just nothing?" Naturally, the dirt reached my parents. My dad was shaking with anger. "No matter how much you two don't get along, she's still your sister. How could you do this? What's left for her now?" I adjusted my expression, recalling their deepest secrets. Time to put on quite a show. "Oh, dear father, is she really my sister? Because I heard Mia is older than me?" Wow, what nonsense is this? Who told you that? Who told me? Let me think. It was someone named Logan. Word is he's been gone for years and his family is still looking for him, right? Dad's expression changed drastically at the name. You. How do you know about this? I massaged my face to ease my fake smile stiffness. And as for you, I directed my words to my beloved mother, leaned closer, and whispered, Dear mother, what happened to that woman named Rachel? Mom's eyes widened in shock. Ava, what are you saying? Don't call me Ava like that. It makes me vomit, possibly all over you. Then I dropped the smile. Anyway, you two should behave. Don't mess with me or I'll spill everything. Keep darling Mia under control and out of my sight. Otherwise, I grinned at the three stunned people in front of me. I can't guarantee her safety. Terrified, all three stayed silent. I couldn't help but reflect. Those secrets I learned after my last life ended were no joke. Look at what a quick result. After going nuts, I felt so much better. Happily, I went to apply to live on campus at school. Every day I was either in the classroom or the dorm. Mia, on the other hand, was taken away by her parents and hadn't been back to school for a week. I was asked by the homeroom teacher to go home, not because I was itching to cause trouble. When I got home, I saw this perfect, peaceful family scene. Mia was sticking close to my mom, and my mom was looking all soft and gentle at this kid who wasn't hers. She sure wasn't that gentle when she killed someone. When Mia saw me, she bristled like a hedgehog and shouted, What are you doing here? Oh, am I supposed to notify you when I come to my own house? Mom, look at sis. I just asked, and she's snapping at me. Boo-hoo. But this time, my mom wasn't about to mess with me. She actually scolded Mia. Mia, you're asking for it. Seeing Mia's ugly expression, I chuckled and headed upstairs. I opened my room and rolled my eyes. Mia's clothes were packed nicely and placed in my room. Ugh, seriously, every time I come home, it's like I have to dismantle the house. It's a workout. Happily, I tossed everything out again, especially the clothes. I tossed them from the second floor, hitting the mother-daughter duo, having their little moment downstairs. Mia's face changed immediately. Big sis, those are my clothes. You don't have clothes to wear, but you can't just throw mine out because you're jealous. That careful little act of hers is ancient, and I'm quite sick of it. As far as jealousy goes, I thought about it and smiled real big. Right, I'm jealous. So Mom, tell Dad to sell Mia's new clothes and bags, and just transfer the money to my card. If he doesn't, I can have a nice chat with him about Logan. After that, I went back to my room and just chilled. The next morning, I headed out. I was surprised to see Ben outside the house. Ben, what are you doing here? I heard from your roommate you went home. Wanted to see how you're doing. Oh, not much. Just went home for a little meltdown. Hee hee. Was it fun? Through a bunch of stuff. Kinda tired. Ben twitched his mouth and finally asked, College entrance exams aren't far off. Where do you want to go? Harvard? Ben nodded, didn't say much more. Mia later showed up at school, but with her bottom of the class grades, improvement wasn't happening anytime soon. Plus, after what happened, no one dared get too close to her. She just gave up. People either caught her smoking in the girls' restroom or found beer and little bags of powder in her drawer. I couldn't care less about her drama. I was busy with Ben, the academic top dog, couldn't care less about her drama. I was busy with Ben, the academic top dog, prepping for the big exam. The results came out, and Ben called me, asking me to come out. I opened the door and saw him standing there, top student. What's up? Had to come all the way here yourself. Ben smiled slightly. How'd it go? Did you get in? Please. Didn't you see the group messages? The homeroom teacher was so excited she cried in a voice message. Said she's blessed to have taught a state top scorer and a fifth-place holder. She'll be counting her blessings forever. The state top scorer was, of course, Ben, and I was fifth. Ben nodded. So, when do you plan to head out? You're almost an adult. Things at home. I plan on leaving in a few days. I saved up quite a bit. Enough for school and rent. Ben nodded together. Later, I found out he actually grew up around Harvard and just transferred back to take the exam. His family lives on Wall Street, the Williams family, not some little Johnson family. As for the rumors about his dad being a murderer and mental illness in his family, they were spread by that knife-wielding guy. Turns out that guy's dad is the real murderer. I asked Ben why that guy smeared him like that. Ben said he's like a distant relative. He's really just jealous we have money. What a shame. What's a shame? I thought your family had a mental illness history. I thought we'd make a good match. Ben lightly flicked my forehead. I wouldn't mind being crazy for you. Oh, he's quite a flirt. Too bad I'm not into him. As I was packing, Mia and the others were watching. Mia rushed over to mock me. Ava, you thought you were so great? Aren't you still packing up and leaving? I didn't even think before responding. Oh, my poor, foolish sister. Do you have a head just for show or something? You, what are you saying? Ugh, told you to study harder. And now you can't even get sarcasm. I glanced over as the parents just walked in. Finally, we've got the whole gang. Oh, look, that's my wicked father, and that's my wicked but foolish mother. Enough, Ava. I've put up with you long enough. Dad tried to slap me again, but I dodged, and it landed on Mia's face. Mia, I burst out laughing on the spot. Relax, you won't have to put up with me anymore. I'll be gone soon. I'm 18, ready to start fresh on my own. You better know your place. We Williams don't have to put up with me anymore. I'll be gone soon. I'm 18, ready to start fresh on my own. You better know your place. We Williams don't have people like you. You're not my daughter. Mia is my daughter. Great. I quietly turned off the recorder in my pocket. Smiling, I turned to my mom, my biological mom. Forgot to mention, dear mom, Mia is Dad's illegitimate child, not some orphan from an orphanage. Mia and Dad's illegitimate child, not some orphan from an orphanage. Mia and Dad both knew about this. I watched as my mom's face froze. I'm still stirring up trouble. Oh, and by the way, Mia's biological mother is Rachel. You know the woman you hate to your core? What? My mom's face turned pale, and she looked straight at my dad. My dad looked nervous, and my mom knew what was up. She looked at Mia, her once beloved daughter, with pure fury. You little brat, you're the spawn of that disgusting woman. She lunged at Mia, trying to strangle the life out of her, just wanting to end Mia's life like she did her mother's. I thought the drama wasn't enough, so I threw in another bombshell. You can't find Rachel, right? That's 'cause my lovely mom killed her and stuffed her in a construction site statue with cement. With that, the expressions of all three in the room changed. Watching them tear each other apart, I kindly stepped outside and called the cops. Hello, yeah, 102 here. There's a violent family brawl going on in this house. You should probably hurry. Later, I heard from a neighbor. By the time the police got to the Johnsons, Mia was nearly choked to death. Why wasn't my dad doing anything? A bottle to the head from my dear mom had knocked him out cold. My mom, Susan now, was taken away by the police for attempted murder. During the investigation, I handed over the evidence I had to them through Mark's family. The cops quickly sent someone to that construction site and found a woman's body, Rachel's body, in the statue. Susan got herself a pair of shiny handcuffs and a life sentence without worry of food or shelter. Under the same site, they found another body, a man named Logan. An intensified investigation revealed that CEO Tom was involved in some pretty horrific schemes on Wall Street. The worker Logan had just happened to witness his shady dealings and was buried alive for it. Wall Street doubled its investigation efforts and took down the entire underground network, including the Johnson family's ties to it. Of course, the police wanted my help in the investigation. I had recordings ready for them and let them know I'd prepared some of the evidence. The truth of my kidnapping came out that Rachel, Tom's mistress, had me kidnapped to get back at Mia. That didn't surprise me. I knew it from my previous life after I died. But for me, it's all in the past now. And Mia, with Tom arrested and Susan in jail, the Johnson mansion was seized. Mia was thrown out. Because she didn't take school seriously and was caught doing drugs, she was sent to rehab by the narcotics squad. After rehab, she had nowhere to go and ended up begging on the streets. When things got really bad, she'd sell herself at shops for quick cash. And me? I've got a bright future ahead. Susan's perspective, my biological daughter was finally found. But she wasn't the same sweet girl she used to be. She always looked at me like she knew everything, which made me uneasy. After the party, when she whispered Rachel's name in my ear, it freaked me out. I didn't even know if I was hearing things. But I was scared. Was my secret out? I couldn't treat Ava like before. Mia being so considerate reminded me of Ava. I went out of my way to be good to Mia, so much so that I would convince myself Mia was my real daughter, and Ava was just some adopted child. On the day Ava left home, she gently revealed the truth, dragging me from my beautiful fantasy. She said Mia was Tom's illegitimate child. My beautiful fantasy. She said Mia was that filthy Rachel's daughter. I went crazy and tried to choke Mia. Tom tried to stop me. I hit that vile man with a newly bought antique. When the police separated me from Mia, Ava was already gone. It came out that I killed Rachel, and they sent me to prison. Every day, the inmates make me do the dirtiest jobs: washing underwear, scrubbing toilets. Before dawn, I'm forced to work, doing chores for the whole cell. My hands are old and wrinkled. My face is aged and ugly, no longer bearing the elegance of a lady. My daughter Ava never visited me. She must hate me, hate her father. Although she's my real daughter, I'd try to find my old Ava's sweetness in Mia. Was she really my Ava? Or maybe were she and Mia swapped? My daughter was so well-behaved and sensible. But this Ava, she's nothing like my little girl. Ben's perspective when she walked towards me, I felt something strange inside. Unlike others, she didn't push me away. She smiled and reached out her hand, introducing herself as Ava. Her hand was different from her pale skin, covered in calluses. Later, I found out she'd been kidnapped and sold as a child bride. She endured a lot for years until she managed to escape. She's into her studies, which is a good thing. One of my few strengths is that I'm good at studying. Turns out, after she found out I was top of the class, she started looking at me like I was someone special. She often found opportunities to ask me questions, and I always explained things in great detail. I wish those moments could last a bit longer. She didn't believe the rumors about me, so later when she asked if I believed the rumors about her, I confidently said no. When she learned the guy with the knife was the one with a family history of mental illness, she actually felt sad about it. I'm always curious about what goes on in her little head. She said, "I thought your family had a history of mental illness. I thought we'd be a good match." Such a weird thing to say. Who thinks they're a perfect match because of mental illness? But I've liked this quirky girl for a long, long time. Unfortunately, it seems she doesn't feel the same about me. Maybe I should learn how to go crazy. Would she notice me more then? Seems a bit hard, but I'm willing to try. To her.